Interest rates are likely to stay higher for longer than a lot of people expected. Now, if you haven't seen a lot of the major headlines, they are all talking about inflation is still at a relatively high level. Now, a lot of people were expecting to see the economy slowing down a little bit and inflation to come down more so that the Fed was able to lower interest rates to counteract the slowing of the economy, and that just hasn't happened. So in this video, I'm gonna kind of break down what is going on right now in the short term. Also, what are the predictions kind of changing to? And in the end, I'm gonna give you an idea of what I think this is gonna do to our local housing market here in Southern California, and specifically for Orange County. And I'm gonna go back to my original prediction of what was gonna happen in 2024, and so far, I've been wrong. So before we get to that, I wanna make sure I introduce myself. If you don't know who I am, my name is Stubbs. I'm a team leader and owner here at Onyx Homes, a team at First Team Real Estate. And the reason I make these videos is to give as much information to our customers and consumers as possible. And if you're not receiving this in your email inbox every Friday, make sure you register at ocmarketupdates.com. There's over 14,000 people in Orange County that have registered for this newsletter, and we send it out every single Friday. And we only talk about what we feel like is the most important stuff going on right now in the marketplace. So let's dive in to this topic. So going back to my prediction of what I thought was gonna happen in 2024 was I had said that it's going to be a pretty boring year. And it hasn't been a boring year at all. It has been actually a pretty hot market. Orange County has really caught fire in the first couple of months of the year. And I'm sitting here filming this in April. So the first quarter of the year, in a previous newsletter, I mentioned that Orange County, California had the highest price appreciation in the entire country of anywhere else. We had 15% price appreciation in the first quarter of 2024, which is an enormous number. If you're not on this newsletter, we talked about that a couple of weeks ago. And this is something that is not boring, not normal. Now, nobody could have predicted this type of explosion in pricing at the beginning of the year. Now, I will say we did give a ton of different context and prediction that there was going to be a surge of buyers coming to the market at the beginning of the year. So we knew that was gonna happen. We just didn't expect it to affect pricing as much as it has. Now, going back that I said that this was going to be a boring year, and I've been wildly wrong so far, let me explain what I meant by a boring year. I meant a boring year being that price appreciation for the entire year was gonna be about 5%, which is average. Now, just because prices went up 15% in the first few months of the year doesn't necessarily mean that that prediction could be wrong. A lot of the times we will see prices increase in the first couple of months of the year and prices decrease towards the winter. That is relatively normal, but I'm not really changing my prediction at all that prices will be higher at the beginning of this year versus where they were at last year. I think we're gonna still see price appreciation for sure in 2024. I just don't think it's gonna continue going up at this rate. It would be crazy if it did. Prices would double in 1 year. That's not gonna happen, especially with the news that's come out with inflation numbers coming in bad, which means the economy is doing well. It's a little bit confusing. Now, the reason the Fed has been talking about lowering the federal funds or interest rate is because everybody was kind of expecting the economy to slow down. Overall economy was to slow down this year so that they would need to cut rates to reignite the market. Now, that is what normally happens in this type of environment, but the inflation numbers came back. Jobs report's been good. Inflation numbers are still a little bit high, and there's really no need, and it would be a bad thing if they did drop interest rates. We would see prices go back out of control. I'm not saying prices for housing, I'm saying prices for everything. Oil, food, when grocery store prices started going out of control, that was because inflation was really high. So that's the reason they're not lowering interest rates. And I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't lower interest rates at all this year. I don't, frankly, my personal opinion, I don't think they should. Now, the reality is it is a good thing that the overall economy is doing well. It just makes things a little bit more expensive for a little bit longer, at least when we're talking about mortgage interest rates. So if we don't expect to see mortgage interest rates come down this year, we really expect to see a lot more of the same for the rest of 2024. Now, again, I don't think we're gonna see prices do what they've done so far the rest of the year. I think we're gonna see a relatively flat and maybe a little bit of a tail off towards the election. We talked about that in another newsletter a couple of months ago, was the election season usually brings a lot of uncertainty to some of the buyer pool. So what does this mean for you? Working with somebody that really understands and knows this housing market is more important now than it has probably ever been. So buyers and sellers, I have links for you guys down below. Buyers, you can start by going to SoCalHomesForSale.com and set up your home search, or you can reach out to us directly. You can also go to OnyxHomes.com and find us there. Now for sellers, I would recommend starting at Track Your Value. Now this is gonna give you an opportunity to give you an estimated value of what your home's worth, with the real goal of buyers or sellers both need to have a strategy session. This is for anybody that's thinking about moving anywhere near the next 12 months. I cannot recommend enough getting in and doing the strategy session early so that you understand what it takes to take advantage of the market and how to make sure you're protected and getting the best deal possible, whether you're buying or selling. So I hope this was helpful. This is an update as far as what we see going on in the marketplace right now. And as a last note, coming soon, I'm gonna have a case study in a future video talking about real life scenarios of how we save our buyers a ton of money when they're buying property and take advantage of the market. And at the same point, how we talk about our sellers and how we get them way more money than they were expecting when they sell their property. I've got real life examples. We're working on making a killer video for that. So if you want to make sure you get that in your email inbox, make sure you go to ocmarketupdates.com and make sure we have your email address and you're on that list along with 14,000 other Orange County residents. So again, my name is Christian. I hope you found this valuable and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.